Hello, this is a general Holy Paladin healing guide. My name is Aaliyah. This guide is accurate as of patch 3.3.2, but may become outdated as new patches and expansions are released. In this guide, we'll cover the breadth of the basic aspects of Holy Paladin healing. We will look at talent choices for Holy Paladins, discussing the must-have and the optional talents that can be taken in each tree. Following our discussion of talents, we'll move on to the topic of Holy Paladin spells. While many healers talk about one spam spell which is used most often, there are numerous spells in the Holy Paladin's toolkit, and our understanding there is a major key that separates good Holy Paladins from bad ones. Next we'll talk about stats, gemming, and enchanting for Holy Paladins. We'll discuss why Interlock is such an important stat for Paladins, and why certain Paladins will go after spell power, while others do not. Finally, I will finish up with a brief mention of add-ons and macros which will be useful to you in your role as a healer. Also look for a video on soloing as a Holy Paladin, as I will try to dispel the awful notion that Holy Paladins are terrible soloers. First, let's talk about spells. I'll try to cover spells in three basic groups: heals, mitigation tools, and mana management. Using spells properly is the key to what separates good and bad Holy Paladins. A good Holy Paladin knows that there is much more to healing than simply spamming one spell. First, we'll be getting into healing spells. A Holy Paladin's heals consist of Flash of Light, Holy Light, Holy Shock, Lay on Hands, and Beacon of Light. Flash of Light is a quick, mana-efficient spell, which the Holy Paladin can spam with almost no noticeable effect on their mana pool. This makes it an ideal heal for situations in which the damage is not heavy and you want to conserve mana. It also helps Holy Paladins deal with subtle amounts of raid damage, as they can fire off spells at 1 per second in proper gear levels. Holy Light is a powerful, long, and mana-consuming spell, which Holy Paladin will have difficulty spamming. This is why most Holy Paladins choose to gear and set up for Holy Light spamming, as the current raid environment consists of many encounters with heavy and tank and raid damage, and using Flash of Light alone simply won't be enough. Most Paladins want the capability to spam Holy Light for a time. With proper talents, haste and gear, and judging, a Holy Paladin can get down to as little as 1.3 seconds for a Holy Light, which is actually fairly quick and makes it quite viable to raid heal in heavy raid damage situations. There's a debate currently between what's known as the Flash of Light and Holy Light styles of healing and setting up. As I just mentioned, most Holy Paladins choose to set up for Holy Light styles of healing. This doesn't mean that you never use Flash of Light. In fact, a good Holy Paladin will use Flash of Light quite often, so long as damage isn't heavy. There's no reason to waste your mana on a Holy Light, which will mostly result in a large overheal and ends up wasting mana. Flash of Light geared Paladins will still use Holy Light too, in situations where Flash of Light cannot keep up. But because they aren't geared to spam Holy Light, the tactic will leave them drained of mana fairly quickly. For new and gearing Paladins, I would recommend the Holy Light style, simply because it's the most straightforward, and the one which allows the most flexibility. This is not to say the Flash of Light style of healing is bad, but it's a niche style of healing which is typically used by people with plenty of experience and their own reasons for converting to it. If you need to switch to a Flash of Light style, you will know that you need to switch. Otherwise, I suggest a Holy Light style of healing and gearing. Holy Shock is a medium, instant heal, but it's terribly inefficient with its use of mana. The spell is reserved mostly for emergency situations, such as when someone dips below 10% health and needs to be brought up quickly. When combined with an infusion of light proc, it can become a great lifesaver tool, but you shouldn't find it among your top heals for any fight. Lay on Hands is a unique heal, with its power being based off of your total health and costing no mana. In fact, with the right glyphs, it can restore mana to you as it restores mana to its target. The catch is that it's on a 20-minute cooldown. This can be reduced to 11 minutes through talents and glyphs, but it will still generally only be available once per encounter. With points and improved Lay on Hands, this spell also provides a nifty mitigation buff, which makes it great for tanks who have just taken spike damage. Beacon of Light is a buff gained from talents that can be placed on a target for 60 seconds and is refreshable. All direct healing done by you will be transferred to your beacon target. In heavy damage fights, this can result in almost doubling your healing. Unless you're healing someone who's about to die, if you don't toss them a heal, your priority should be 100% uptime on Beacon of Light. I'll explain this spell further in the talent section. For mitigation spells, Holy Paladins have a lot of tools. Spells such as Hand of Protection are great for raid members who suddenly pull aggro, as it reduces all damage taken. Hand of Sacrifice can be used on someone who's about to take a lot of damage and transfer it to you. This is especially useful if you have yourself beacon, such as in Phase 3 of Sindragosa. Another important tool is Sacred Shield, a spell which is often, but not always, placed on your beacon target. It absorbs up to 500 damage, scaled upwards to spell power, but cannot be gained more than once every 6 seconds, and is a chance on hit. Taking the Divine Guardian talent will increase its length to 60 seconds, from 30. I wouldn't want to forget Cleanse either. One needs to be a smart cleanser. That means don't cleanse if you're not supposed to, as some effects should not be cleansed, or shouldn't be cleansed right away, such as the debuffs on Rot Face, or in the new Hellion encounter. Aside from these sorts of debuffs though, cleansing various diseases and poisons and magic effects is a great way to stop damage before it happens, or help free a member from some sort of ability which might otherwise incapacitate them. Good Holy Paladins are smart cleansers and recognize the value of cleanse in contributing to the success of a raid. Hand of Freedom is a great situational tool, which can free a raid member from a sticky situation. Literally. It allows the target to move freely through snare effects, which is great for kiting tanks on rot face who might have to run through slime, and in various other scenarios where a raid member needs to be somewhere quick, but has a debuff or snare stopping them from getting there quickly. Two of your most powerful mitigation tools come from talents. These are Aura Mastery and Divine Guardian. Aura Mastery is covered quite thoroughly in the talent section. Divine Guardian lasts 6 seconds and reduces all damage taken raid-wide within 30 yards by 20% on a 2-minute cooldown. This effect comes along with Divine Sacrifice, which will redirect your party's damage to you. If you don't have Divine Shield up, it's usually best to cancel Divine Sacrifice, but the Divine Guardian effect is still valuable, even without it. It's worth noting that using these spells is effectively one of the keys of a good Holy Paladin. You should look for places to use these spells and attempt to use them as much as possible. While they won't reflect on your healing meters, they will make healing easier and less people will die, which ultimately will result in you wiping on content less and successful raids. Finally, but certainly not least, are your mana management spells. Aside from your heals, these are arguably some of your most important spells. Many Holy Paladins complain of mana issues, and I'm quite certain that the majority of mana problems on Holy Paladins can be solved by simply using your mana management cooldowns better. Divine Plea is your most powerful tool for your mana pool. On a 1-minute cooldown timer, it can be used several times in a fight and restores 25% of your mana over 15 seconds each time. This is one of the biggest reasons why Intellect is such an important stat for Holy Paladins. The larger your mana pool, the more MP5 gained from Divine Plea. Divine Plea does come at a cost, however, a 50% reduction in healing throughput. This can be offset with abilities such as Avenging Wrath, which increases your healing by 30%. Use this if you're not about to bubble, and Divine Illumination if you have 2-piece tier 10. The best times to use Divine Plea are when healing is light or null, such as phase transitions or other points in the encounter where the fight lulls. Barring these instances, I use my Divine Plea at 80%, and then on cooldown after that, unless I know I'm about to go through a particularly intense period of heavy damage, and don't feel my offsets will be enough to make up for it. It's important to begin using it early if you want it. If you wait until you're almost out of mana, then Divine Plea will do you very little good. Divine Illumination is your other big mana pool cooldown. While it doesn't directly restore mana, it does cut the mana cost of spells in half for 15 seconds. This is a great tool when you're about to spam Holy Lights, and is made even greater by 2-piece T10, where it can be used in conjunction with Divine Plea to continue to spam heals and still watch your mana go up. There's no reason not to use the spell on cooldown, unless you're saving it for a particular point in the fight. Divine Favor is often overlooked, but since crits reduce the mana cost of your spells by 30%, using this spell on cooldown will not only ensure a big heal, it will ensure a mana efficient heal, which will help you in the long run. Ultimately, its impact is small, but if you find yourself running out of mana, then you may wish to consider this tool for its worth. Lastly, I'll mention Seal of Wisdom and Judgment of Wisdom. Judging on cooldown can restore a decent amount of mana at range. However, if it is safe for you to go into melee range, aka knockbacks, stuns, or increased damage from it, and if people won't die when you choose him melee a bit, the combination of these two spells can make an enormous impact on your mana. If you're absolutely out of mana, then you have no reason not to run up a melee boss for a few hits and gain mana back. Properly using Seal of Wisdom and Judgment procs is a sort of Holy Paladin mana secret. The good Holy Paladins know about it, but it isn't mentioned a lot of the time. That's it for spells. Use your spells properly, and you will be one of the better Holy Paladins out there. Simply spamming Flash of Light or Holy Light isn't enough. Learn the range of the tools at your disposal, and use them effectively. The written companion to this guide explains all the useful spells in more detail. Before you ever cast a heal, some of the most important decisions that you will make are in your choice of talents. After all, if you put most of your points in the Retribution and Protection tree, you won't make for a very sustainable healer. Even in the Holy Tree, some talents are better suited for PvP than our current topic, PvE healing, most specifically in a raid setting. And even among the talents that find use in PvE, many are highly situational and thus optional. These optional talents will be taken or left alone by you based upon your own healing style, your raid's needs, or particular situations you encounter, which might require a quick change to your spec. Not all of your points will be placed in just the Holy Tree either. There are useful healing talents in the Protection and Retribution trees, but as I will discuss later, the most efficient use of these talents comes from following specific paths and obtaining specific talents that are slightly further down the tree. Starting in the first tier of the Holy Tree, the only useful talent here is Spiritual Focus. Putting 5 points in this reduces the pushback on Flash of Light and Holy Light by 70% when Concentration Aura is active. This adds on to the effect of Concentration Aura already gives, which allows Holy Paladins to cast their main heals without worrying about increased cast time from taking damage. The second tier provides for us 2 useful talents which are both must-haves for Holy Paladins. Healing Light will increase the effectiveness of all your healing spells by 12% for a 3-point investment, This is a very good talent, and there's absolutely no reason not to put points into it. Additionally, Divine Intellect is also very important. As we'll discuss later, Intellect is the largest stat for most Paladins, and still very valuable for Holy Paladins who may not consider it their primary stat. You will need to max out both of these talents in order to progress down the tree. Unyielding Faith is a PvP talent, and thus not very useful here. The third tier contains Aura Mastery, a very powerful and useful mitigation tool. This is the first optional talent that we run into in the tree. The first half of the effect is more PvP orientated. It's the last half of the last full sentence that matters to us as PvE healers. That 100% increase to auras makes a world of a difference for resistance auras against a particular damage type which might spike up, raid-wide. Some examples include Hodir's Frozen Blows, Ignis's Flame Jets, Toravon's Whiteout, Coloron's Burning Breath, and Festergut's Pungent Blight, just to name a few of the many that are out there. Obviously, it's a very powerful tool when used appropriately. Also in the third tier is the talent Illumination, important and a must-have for several reasons. First, it begins a chain of talents which allows us to acquire Holy Shock and Infusion of Light, the former a powerful instant heal, and the latter a useful talent which will be clutch in emergency situations. The actual effect of Illumination makes critical heals particularly useful to Paladins, as they return 30% of the base cost of the spell used. Holy Paladins crit a lot. Thus, this talent is useful in more ways than just progressing to some important spells down the tree. Improved Lay on Hands is another optional talent. However, unless you take Improved Concentration Aura, you will most likely need at least 1 point Improved Lay on Hands in order to progress down the tree in later tiers. Combined with the Minor Glyph, this reduces the cooldown on Lay on Hands to 11 minutes, and the mitigation effect makes it particularly clutch if used on tanks in a tight spot. The fourth tier contains another optional talent, Improved Concentration Aura. This talent extends a Paladin's virtual immunity to spell pushbacks while in Concentration Aura to other casting classes, which makes it a very useful raid utility spell. However, if there's not a lot of pushback triggering damage in a raid, or another Holy Paladin already has it, this talent loses much of its value. Improved Blessing of Wisdom is also in the fourth tier. You'll probably need to take Improved Blessing of Wisdom in order to progress up to the next tier. However, there's no reason not to take it. For a low talent point investment, you up the value of your Blessing of Wisdom by 20%. Blessed Hands is not a recommended talent. Its main utility is in PvP, and it would be very situational in a PvE encounter. In the fifth tier, we have Pure of Heart. Pure of Heart is really a PvP-oriented talent with very little impact in PvE, requiring far too many talent points to justify its limited uses. Divine Favor is also in this tier. The effect from Divine Favor is okay, allowing you to crit any of your healing spells once every 2 minutes, on demand via cooldown. There are some valuable applications to this spell, but the true value of this talent is in allowing you further down the tree. It's required to eventually get Holy Shock, which, incidentally, is the spell which gains the most power from Divine Favor. The other talent in this tier is Sanctified Light. This increases the critical chance on Holy Light and Holy Shock. Note that this does not include Flash of Light. However, it's still a valuable talent since you will still end up casting Holy Light, and critical and Holy Shocks have a number of useful after effects, not to mention a critical Holy Shock is a powerful instant heal. The sixth tier has Holy Power. This talent increases the critical strike chance of all your holy spells by 5%, which makes it a great throughput tool. Purifying Power is another talent, and is mostly PvP, with very limited applications in PvE. Ultimately, it isn't worth the talent point investment when your talents can be used elsewhere. In Tier 7, we run into a very important talent for Holy Light, Light's Grace. Later, I'll talk about different styles of healing. Regardless of whether you're a Flash of Light or Holy Light healer though, chances are that you will cast some Holy Lights. Making your Holy Lights as short as possible is what makes it a viable and useful spell, since it's already a powerful one. Also in this tier, you will finally get Holy Shock. This is a powerful instant heal that becomes very important in emergency situations. It finds a lot more value in PvP, however its PvE significance and its value for being a 1-point talented ability is immense. Blessed Life is another PvP-oriented talent. You simply shouldn't be taking enough damage to make it worth the talent investment. In the 8th tier, we start off with Sacred Concept. This is another PvP talent with limited situational usefulness in PvE. In the end, not taking it boils down to the fact that putting the points in it takes points away from other places, which will have a far larger impact. Holy Guidance is a very good talent, and one of the many reasons Intellect becomes such a valuable stat for Holy Paladins. It increases spell power through your Intellect, making your heals bigger. You should be putting points in that. The 9th tier contains two very useful talents which become key parts of the Holy Paladin's healing tools. The first is Divine Illumination. Since Divine Illumination directly helps with mana efficiency by reducing the cost of spells restoration, there's absolutely no reason not to take it. The other talent is Judgments of the Pure, which is an expensive but definitely valuable talent which makes Holy Light a reasonable cast time and Flash of Light an efficient light heal. The talent gives the Holy Paladin about 15% casting haste for 60 seconds upon a successful hit of a judgment spell, such as Judgment of Wisdom or Judgment of Light. This means that a Paladin will be casting judgments frequently, in order to keep the cast times of their heals low. The 1 global cooldown trade-off is well worth the minute global cooldown saved in a 1 minute period, or roughly 1 minute period of spell casts. The 10th tier also contains 2 worthy talents. Infusion of Light is the capstone talent in the tree, which gives you Holy Shock, Divine Favor, and Illumination. Infusion of Light is a buff that you get when you get a crit from a Holy Shock cast. The buff makes your next flash of light instant in most cases, or gives your next Holy Light a 20% increased chance for crit. This makes Holy Shock a very good emergency tool, especially if you guarantee that crit with Divine Favor. You can use the powerful instant heal to bring someone safely out from immediate danger, and then use the crit effect for another instant heal to top them off. Or you can use the crit chance on Holy Light to, perhaps, bring a tank nearer to full, since a Holy Shock and a Flash of Light won't be nearly enough for such a large health pool. The other talent in this tier is Enlightened Judgments, which is a talent which makes judging as a Holy Paladin viable, since it allows you to judge at range when you heal. The final tier, the 11th one, contains arguably the most powerful talent for Paladin healers in Wrath of the Lich King. This talent gives the Paladin a spell, Beacon of Light, which is a buff on one target for 60 seconds. 90 with the glyph, that transfers all direct healing from the Paladin on other targets to the Beacon target. Beacon of Light is a fairly expensive spell, but well worth its cost and the number of talents needed to get it, as it essentially doubles the Holy Paladin's healing. As with talents in the 9th and 10th tier, this talent is a must-have for PvE healing in a raid situation. To quickly mention some applications, you can place a beacon on one tank and heal the other, or you can place it on a tank taking the most damage and raid heal, or you can place it on yourself in a heavy raid damage scenario with constant tank swaps, such as Phase 3 in Nagosa, and continue healing without worrying about your own health. That covers the talents in the Holy Tree. There are some other optional talents in other trees, but this will be your most populated tree, and many of the talents mentioned here are must-haves. After the Holy Tree, you'll have 2 different paths you can take, one down the Protection Tree and one down the Retribution Tree. Each path has a specific goal which makes a significant impact on your healing contribution to raids. The impacts are different and apply well to different situations for your raid, gear level, and other factors. Thus, neither one is best, but both are better in different scenarios. The best approach to discussing each tree is just to discuss why you would choose one path or another. Going down the Protection Tree will allow you to pick up the spell Divine Sacrifice, which is a powerful party mitigation tool. Even more useful is Divine Guardian, a powerful raid-wide mitigation tool. Going down the Retribution Tree allows you to pick up points in Conviction, which allows for a high amount of crit rating to your stats, making spells like Flash of Light bigger. They can also make up for a lack of gear, and is a good path to take until your general gear level improves. That covers the talent section of this guide. You may refer to the written accompaniment to this guide for more details on talent choices, especially in regards to the Protection and Retribution healing subpaths. Next, we will talk about stats and how to gear your Paladin. Glyphs are fairly straightforward for 2 of the glyphs. Use Glyph of Seal of Wisdom if you're spec for Holy Light, or Glyph of Seal of Light if you're spec for Flash of Light. Use Glyph of Holy Light regardless, and I personally use Glyph of Beacon of Light. The Flash of Light style paladins may wish to use Glyph of Flash of Light. The last major glyph slot varies a lot more, and I offer explanations for my choices in the written guide, as well as alternatives. Minor glyphs are fairly inconsequential. I take Glyph of Blessing, Wisdom, and Kings for convenience, as well as Glyph of Lay on Hands, which reduces the cooldown on Lay on Hands by 5 minutes. We're running out of time, but it would feel incomplete if I didn't talk about Holy Paladin stats really quickly. In Wrath of the Lich King, assuming you're gearing for Holy Light, Intellect is the most valuable stat by far, followed by Haste. Spell Power, Crit, and MP5 are nice too, but when you look at a piece of gear, you want pieces of gear with Haste over pieces with Crit or MP5. Spell Power will naturally be on your gear already. MP5 is nice, but if you use your mana cooldowns effectively, you won't need much passive regen, and Crit lost much of its value in patch 3.2, now providing less MP5 than the actual stat. This means that you should gem for Intellect and enchant for Intellect where possible. The written portion of this guide provides specific listings for the best enchants for each slot, and your best gem setup is all plus 20 Intellect gems, with 1 Nightmare tier stuck in a red or blue socket, hopefully a socket which nets you a socket bonus, and an insightful Ursiege Diamond should be your meta. That's all I can cover right now in the video portion of this guide. The written guide should be used as a reference in association with this guide, where you can grab more specific details on talents, spells, gearing, and macros, among other things. Thanks for watching and listening, and good luck in your Holy Paladin endeavors. Goodbye.